Hey, what's up guys? In this video, we're going to be talking about the best weapon for every single character. Now, important information before we start that you guys should listen to. Basically, the way this video is going to work is I'm going to say the best weapon for every character, and that might be a 5-star, 4-star, whatever. It's just going to be the ultimate best weapon. Then I'm also going to say the best free-to-play option, so you can get at the blacksmith or a 3-star. And then I'll also mention if the battle pass weapon is good or not on that character. And if I don't mention the battle pass weapon, it's usually because I don't think it's good on that specific character. And the reason I'm talking about battle pass weapon and not just every like 4-star that's mediocre is because battle pass weapon is like a low budget option since the battle pass only costs $10, and a lot of previously free-to-play players or low budget players will get the battle pass. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about best weapon on every character, best free-to-play option, and battle pass weapon. I really hope you guys enjoyed because this was one of the longest videos to make. I had to research every character, much like my best artifacts for every character video. Probably not the best video to make during finals, but that's okay. So yeah, I just wanted you guys to know that I stream almost every night on Twitch. If you guys want to stop by, that'd be sick. That being said, guys, I hope you enjoy, and let's get right into it. Oh, and by the way, this video is going to be organized based on weapons. So we're going to do like all claymores, all bow users, all that stuff in one section. And on the YouTube time bar, I'll show the name of every character I'm reviewing if you guys just want a specific character. Now, I've made tons of guides on Childe. Obviously, if you want to go watch them for more information, you can. First of all, let me say the battle pass bow is amazing and it's a great option for low budget players. This is what I use on my Childe right now. It's just very, very good. Now, the best weapons on him though, I see there are 3 that compete. There's Viridescent Hunt, Rust, and Skyward Harp. Skyward Harp is the definite best, but if your Rust is refined, it can come really close and can be better at level 80, but at 90, the base attack on Harp outscales it. But a lot of people ask me Rust versus Viridescent, and honestly, they're both very close. I like Viridescent better because it has crit rate, and it makes up for my bad artifacts. And also, the effect is just really fun and works while you're in your melee stance. If you guys want to know which bows work on his melee stance and which don't, be sure to check out my Childe guide. But yes, Rust does work on it. But overall, Skyward Harp is the best option because of how good it is. A good free-to-play option for Childe is definitely the Prototype Crescent. It's not amazing, like Battle Pass bow is way better, but if you need a free-to-play one, this one can work for 2 reasons. One, it gives you attack percent as a substat, which is okay, you know, it's not bad. And the effect is actually pretty good on him. Now, for a lot of support characters, you might not, or even DPS bow users, you might not want to do an aim shot. But for Childe, it can be pretty good because once you do this aim shot, you can do it on a weak point, right? To get this effect, which is a pretty nice attack increase. But it also applies Riptide. So just doing that aim shot will apply Riptide, and then you can switch your melee stance and deal a bunch of damage. Obviously, you don't want the compound bow on Childe because it gives physical damage. For Venti, there are a few options. If you need energy recharge, Favonius Warbow can be good, but I have found out that I'm getting enough energy recharge on my Venti, especially like Abyss and stuff. I don't really need more energy recharge. So the best bows you can run on him are either Stringless, especially if you have this like Refinement 5. It's a very, very good bow on him. So Stringless is good, but the absolute best bow is the Skyward Harp. The Skyward Harp just has a pretty good base attack, crit rate on Venti, and crit damage is actually pretty nice just for raw damage. And overall, it's just pretty good. And not really to get into numbers, but using the spreadsheet from the Venti mains Discord, and go check them out if you want more information, but basically the damage on Skyward Harp out damages Stringless Refinement 5, but it's pretty close, so play whichever one you want. The best free-to-play blacksmith option for Venti is the Prototype Crescent because the compound bow gives you physical damage and you don't want that on Venti, and the effect of this one is okay. It just basically increases your attack, and that's not bad because Venti does have some nice attack scaling. So for Diona, she's a bit special. The free-to-play bows aren't that great. Like you can use the Prototype Crescent from the blacksmith if you want, or like a Raven bow if you want Elemental Mastery. But apart from that, the best bows you can get are energy recharge bows, which are the 2 4-star ones that you get from Gacha, unfortunately. Which leaves us with the Favonius Warbow and the Sacrificial Bow. They're both pretty decent on her, but I like the Sacrificial Bow better because of its effect, resetting your cooldown and giving you energy recharge, which lets you spam your ult. Favonius also gives you a lot of energy recharge, but overall, just because of the Sacrificial Bow effect, I think it's better on her. So for Fischl, it depends how you're building her. If you want a physical damage DPS Fischl, the compound bow is the best free-to-play option because of the physical damage. But if you are running a support Fischl, which is what I run, and you need a free-to-play option, the Prototype Crescent is better because it gives you an attack substat, and also the aim shot. If you do an aim shot, it will increase your attack, which isn't bad. Now, the best bow for Fischl really depends on how you're playing her. If you're running her as a main physical DPS, obviously you want Rust, very, very nice on her. But if you're running her as support, Stringless is one of the best weapons. But if you're running her as support, the Battle Pass bow is a great option, especially for a low budget player. And the best weapons are either Stringless or the Skyward Harp. So yeah, Stringless is amazing on support Fischl, but overall for DPS and support, the ultimate best weapon is the Skyward Harp if you have it. Now for Amber, especially as a support, Crescent definitely the way to go for a blacksmith free-to-play weapon. But there's even a 3-star bow that's pretty good on her, and that's a good free-to-play option, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. So a decent free-to-play option is the Sharpshooter's Oath if you're using her as DPS. So this isn't great as support, but as a DPS, this gives you a lot of crit damage when you level it up, and it increases your damage against weak spots, so when you headshot, which is just very good for a free-to-play DPS option. So Amber's a pretty unique case, but in terms of best weapon, if you're running her as like a pyro support, the Stringless is an amazing weapon on her, and the Skyward Harp is also arguably the best. Skyward Harp will increase your crit damage and give you crit rate. So yeah, it depends how you play her, but in general, Skyward Harp is amazing on her, and Stringless is a good option as a support character. Now for Xiangling, she has really good free-to-play options. As a DPS, the Crescent Pike is the best spear on her. It just makes her an amazing DPS, better than any other 5-star option or anything. And as a support, the Prototype Grudge is a great option. It's definitely the best free-to-play one. If you are running a support, however, the Dragon's Bane is really good if your main DPS is Childe, because it just gives you more damage. And also, the best weapon on her is the, sorry, I was in the wrong section. The best weapon on her is the 5-star Skyward Spine, because of the nice energy recharge and effect and all that. Okay, for Zhongli, so I've made a few in-depth guides on him, so if you want to check them, go check them out. But basically, for DPS, the best free-to-play weapon is Pike, and the best weapon period is also Crescent Pike. Now, if you're running him as support, the Prototype Grudge is much better than the Pike, so the other blacksmith weapon, because it gives energy recharge. And the Battle Pass weapon is amazing on him, very worth considering. It's what I use on him because the crit rate is so good, especially when you're using your elemental burst, you want it to crit every time to deal max damage, so the crit rate is very nice. Now, if you're the best weapon on him though is there are actually a few good ones, but in my opinion it's probably the Skyward Spine because of the energy recharge. Now as we know, his E is kind of buggy, and I hope they fix it because it doesn't always give you a particle. So Zhongli's biggest weakness is his low energy recharge, which means you have to run him in a team with like a Ningguang or a Venti and then swap to him and do like a quick swap team. One of the main ways to sort of get around this is by running a energy recharge weapon, which I unfortunately don't have. So Skyward Spine is amazing on him, also gives him crit rate and some other stats. But mainly the energy recharge is nice. Vortex Vanquisher is kind of his spear. Very good for support because of the shield strength and the extra attack that you get, which will boost your ultimate. But I think personally the Skyward Spine is better because of the energy recharge. But this depends on your playstyle and stuff. Primordial Jadewing Spear is also a good spear. It's better than Deathmatch, obviously, because nice crit rate, nice base attack, and nice effect. So yeah, all 3 5-stars are good, but in my opinion, Skyward Spine is the best. So for Diluc, I made a full weapon tier list. If you want to watch that for more info, you can. But in general, the best free-to-play weapon from him is definitely Prototype Aminus. It is great. The Battle Pass weapon is even better, though, if you want to get that, if you're a low-budget player or free-to-play with Battle Pass. The Serpent Spine is very good, and the reason it's better than Aminus is because its substat is crit rate, so it's very good. A lot of people hate on it because of the effect, but the effect is good in a lot of situations, and in like some abyss floors, in some places where it isn't, or like if you set yourself on fire in grass or something, it's still better because you have crit rate. So the substat on it, so the effect on it isn't as important as the substat. But for the best overall weapon, it's definitely the Wolf's Gravestone. The Skyward Pride is a close second because of its higher base attack, but overall, Wolf's Gravestone is the way to go. For Razor, the Prototype Aminus is an amazing free-to-play option, definitely the best blacksmith weapon you can get from. However, the absolute best weapon is the Wolf's Gravestone. It's just so good. It's like made for him. It's absolutely insane. Now, a good middle ground option is the Battle Pass weapon, obviously. The Battle Pass weapon is especially good on Razor, so it's a good option if you are low budget or whatever. The Serpent Spine is insane on him because he doesn't set himself on fire like Diluc, so the effect will usually be beneficial. And even when it isn't, the crit rate substat is amazing and super underrated. So Noelle's a pretty unique case, especially because her C6 changes her so drastically. But in general, the best craftable weapon is the White Blind, not the Prototype Aminus, so you want the White Blind instead. And the Battle Pass weapon, the Serpent Spine, is better if you than the White Blind if you're not C6, but worse if you are C6. But personally, I wouldn't use the Battle Pass weapon on Noelle. And the best weapon on her is the Skyward Pride because of the nice energy recharge and the increasing damage, plus the effect is just very nice. The Unforged is also a very good option because it increases your shield strength and gives you some attack, so this can be another nice option. For Chongyun, you really have a few options. In terms of the best weapon on him, the Wolf's Gravestone and Skyward Pride, which is the other 5-star Claymore, are both very good on him. The Skyward one gives more energy recharge, so it can be better for like a support build. But if you are running him, especially as like a DPS support or a DPS, Wolf's Gravestone does give more damage, so this is a really good weapon on him. In terms of a free-to-play option, the Prototype Aminus is amazing, and the Battle Pass weapon could be worth considering if you're running him as a DPS. Okay, now we're going to talk about Xinyan, who I don't have. I'm actually just in the test run right now. But basically for her, you can either run her physical DPS or a support. If you're running her physical DPS, the best sword is Wolf's Gravestone, and the best free-to-play option is the Prototype Aminus. If you are running her as support, you can consider the White Blind over the Aminus. I would still go with Aminus personally because a lot of her damage scales off of attack, but if you do want a bigger shield, that does scale off defense, so you can consider it. And her best weapon for support would be either the Skyward Pride or the Unforged, depending on what you're going for. If you're going for a shield and you want to increase shield strength, then you can go for Unforged. But in general, if you're trying to ult spam, which is probably what you're going to be wanting to do, you can go for the Skyward Pride, which has nice energy recharge. And for DPS, obviously her best weapon is the Wolf's Gravestone, which is just amazing. Also worth mentioning that the Battle Pass weapon is good on her as a DPS because it gives you crit rate, so that's just nice. Beidou is a unique case because she was widely considered as a pure DPS, like Electro DPS character, but recently a lot of people have been running her support as well. So I'm going to be talking about both. For both, Prototype Aminus is the best free-to-play weapon, and it's just an amazing claymore. If you're building her DPS, the best weapon is the Wolf's Gravestone because of how strong it is, the base attack, the attack percent, and the amazing effect. Also, as a DPS, the Serpent Spine can be a good option. If you are running her as a support, you want a sword that has energy recharge. The best claymore for her, if you have it, is the Skyward Pride because it gives you a ton of energy recharge, also has a good effect, and the best part is that its base attack is the highest. Now, this is wrong. It's not 45. For some reason, Genshin.gg doesn't have the right one. It is a 48 base attack. So it's the highest base attack from any claymore, and the secondary stat is energy recharge, which is really nice. Now for Bennett, what you want is an energy recharge sword on him. So the best sword on him for sure is the Skyward Blade because it gives you a nice energy recharge while having a good base attack. Now if you do want a big burst on him though, the Aquila can be better because the base attack is higher on the Aquila than on the Skyward sword. Similarly, for free-to-play option, you can go either Sting or Rancor. Sting is better overall because it increases your elemental mastery and your elemental damage, but Rancor can be better because its base attack is higher, which means your ultimate will give more attack, more base attack to your DPS character, so it depends on your playstyle. Rancor is also better if you're using Bennett as a DPS. So for Kaeya as a cryo support, you should be running the Iron Sting for the elemental mastery and the elemental damage if you need a free-to-play option. Ideally for Kaeya, you want an energy recharge sword so that you can spam your ultimate for that constant cryo apply on the enemies. And the best sword for him is the Skyward Blade because it gives you energy recharge and it's a nice 5-star weapon. For Keqing, there's two different playstyles. You can either run her physical or electro. If you're running an electro damage build, you obviously want Iron Sting for the free-to-play weapon because it increases your elemental damage. If you are running her physical, Rancor is way better because it gives you physical damage bonus, and the effect is pretty nice. Now for Keqing, if you're running her physical, the Aquila Favonia is the best weapon by far. Now if you're running her electro, if all your swords are refinement 1, the Aquila is still the best, but a black sword becomes better when it's refinement 2. So overall, the Battle Pass weapon for Keqing is very, very good. Even for physical and electro, it's just a very solid weapon for her. But Aquila at the same refinement level is better, and especially for physical damage, Keqing. So if you need a blacksmith weapon, neither is really that great, but the Rancor gives you more physical damage and just has a high base attack. So if you're going to be auto-attacking with Qiqi a lot, this will be the best blacksmith option. Qiqi, however, does have many much better swords. Basically, energy recharge swords are very nice. So the Favonia sword and the Sacrificial sword are both good. Sac sword is the best sword on her. It's very, very nice because your E has such a long cooldown. But the Skyward Blade is also a very good option because of its high energy recharge and base attack. Overall though, Sacrificial sword is, in my opinion, the best sword on Qiqi. So for Xingqiu, you actually don't want to craft the blacksmith weapons. If you're free to play, the best weapon is usually Skyrider Greatsword because of the nice energy recharge as like a support that spams Elemental Burst. But if you're running a build that doesn't need energy recharge, you can go with the Harbinger of Dawn instead. Now in terms of the best weapon on him, it's definitely the Sacrificial Sword. It's just amazing. The Skyward Sword is also a decent option, but Sacrificial Sword definitely the best on him, especially if you can refine it. Alright, so for Jean, another character I don't have, there's a few different ways to play her. If you're running her as a physical DPS, the best weapon is the Aquila Favonia, which is just a really high base attack, physical damage bonus sword, and is very nice on her even just in general. But if you're running her as a support, you'd want the Skyward Blade ideally because you're going to be spamming your ultimate as much as you can, so the energy recharge is amazing. Also, the effect is very nice on her. And as a support, especially like a Viridescent set, you really want to be ability spamming and getting your elemental burst back as fast as possible. The best free-to-play weapon for her is definitely the Prototype Rancor because it does give you physical damage bonus and increases your base attack when you're attacking, so it's just very nice on her. Also worth mentioning that the Battle Pass weapon, the Black Sword, is amazing on Jean, so if you don't have a 5-star weapon, I would highly recommend getting it. So for the main character, for both Geo and Anemo, the best free-to-play weapon is Rancor because it gives you physical damage and just nice auto attacks. It's also what Enviosity uses. Now if you are running her as like a DPS, you can run Aquila for the high base attack and physical damage, but as a support who's ult spamming, especially Geo, the Skyward Blade is the best. And honestly, as Geo or as Anemo, you want to be spamming your abilities. That's the point of MC, so you want the Skyward Blade. Now, for Barbara, it's really weird because her best weapon for free-to-play, pay-to-win, whatever, is just the Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers. It's just the best weapon on her. Prototype Malice is okay, and there's a few, like if you want to build her DPS, yeah, you can run like Mapamari or some other random DPS book. But if you are running her as like a pure support, like how most people, 99% of people play Barbara, then you're going to be running the Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers, like the best book on her, and it's a 3-star book that you can refine by being a free-to-play player. You just have to pull a bit, but you get enough wishes just by playing the game to refine this to refinement 5, ideally, and it's just the best book on her. Basically what it does is it's a 3-star book, and at refinement 5, it'll increase the attack of the character you swap into by 48%, which is huge. So it's very, very nice on her, and that's what I run on my Barbara. Okay, so for Ningguang, there's a lot of options. The absolute best book is the Lost Period of the Sacred Winds, which I don't have. It's very nice because it gives you crit rate and elemental damage, as well as movement speed, which is just a nice bonus. However, it's worth noting that the Battle Pass weapon on her, the Solar Pearl, is insane and one of the best weapons. So if you play Ningguang, I highly recommend getting the Battle Pass weapon unless you need another one. For the best free-to-play option, the Mapamari is the best book you can craft at the blacksmith because the other one's not that great, and this one's okay. It'll just give you some nice bonus elemental damage, and it can stack twice. Also, I thought it'd be worth mentioning that the Memory of Dust on Ning is pretty good if you have it, because it has the highest base attack, it gives you bonus attack, increases your shield strength, and gives you even more attack. Now for Lisa, you want ideally the Skyward Atlas. It's just an amazing book for support characters, and since you're going to be spamming your skills on her, ideally you want the Skyward Atlas. I'd say the best part about Lisa is once you ascend her to 60 out of 70, you get this talent, which will decrease enemies' defense, so you want to be spamming your abilities as much as you can, and because of that, energy recharge is really nice. So overall, Skyward Atlas, very good on her. A good free-to-play option is the Mapamari because of its effect, and it gives you Elemental Mastery, which helps when you're triggering Overload and other reactions. Another decent option is the Favonius Codex if you can get it, because of the very high energy recharge substat and the effect. I wouldn't recommend the Battle Pass weapon on Lisa. Okay, so for Sucrose, there are a few options, but the best book overall is definitely the Sacrificial Fragments, especially if you can refine it. Basically, it gives you a nice amount of Elemental Mastery, which Sucrose really wants because of the way her talents work. So these two are really benefit from Elemental Mastery. And it has a really nice effect where it has a chance to refund your Elemental skill cooldown. And especially if you ever C1 and you have 2 charges, then the chance of you refunding it becomes really, really high, and it's just amazing. The Skyward Atlas is also a good option. Now for free-to-play players, the Mapamari can be very nice because you can craft it, it gives Elemental Mastery, and it has Elemental Damage bonus, so it's a very, very good option. So now let's talk about Mona. So for Mona, the best catalyst is the Skyward Atlas because it greatly increases your damage, just buffs your Elemental Burst, and makes you that much better of an Elemental support. Another really good option is the Favonius Codex because energy recharge is the most valuable stat on Mona, and this is just really, really good at providing you with energy recharge. And obviously the best free-to-play option is the Mapamari because the other catalyst isn't that great, and this one gives you that elemental damage bonus with a pretty high base attack. So for Klee, there's a bunch of good weapons. The best ones are the Lost Period of the Sacred Winds and the Skyward Atlas, obviously 2 of the good 5-stars. In my opinion, the Lost Period is the best because of the crit rate substat and the elemental damage bonus, which stacks up to 4 times. It gets that 6 times 4, so you'll get 24% damage, which is obviously better than that 12%, although Skyward Atlas does give you another sort of affecting, but overall the crit rate is better than the attack, and I just think Lost Period is the best book on her. Now, an amazing option is the Solar Pearl, which is the Battle Pass weapon, and I recommend getting this if you don't have a 5-star weapon for her. It's very, very good, gives you crit rate, and the effect is nice on her. In terms of a pure free-to-play weapon though, the Mapamari is definitely the way to go. It is better than the Prototype Malice. So that about sums it up, guys. This video, as I mentioned in the intro, it took so long to record. It took just a bunch of clips. The main thing was I was scared of giving misinformation, so I really had to research every single character to make sure all the information was correct. I joined a bunch of Discords, watched some videos, read it, and just my personal testing experience, all that stuff. So I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, concerns, or different opinions, leave them in the comments, and I do tend to read most comments. Also, the support has been unreal. I want to thank you guys so much for that. It's honestly been crazy. I do stream every night, almost every night. If you guys want to come hang out, I'd love that. We can talk and stuff, so be sure to follow my Twitch in the description. Also, if you want to join the Discord, I talk there like all the time, so you can join my Discord, which is also in the description. But yeah, if you guys want to leave a like, that'd be appreciated. So yeah, I hope this helped you guys gear your characters with the resources you have. And yeah, subscribe if you want to. If you don't, that's okay too, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.